Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's fantastic to have you here. My name's Kyle from Regrettable Props, and we're going to be making the helmet Lawbringer from the game For Honor. I will be having the templates in the description, and you're going to be cutting them out on foam. I cut mine out on 5mm craft foam. You guys could do this on 10mm craft foam if you guys have that. You're going to cut them out. You're going to have a left half and a right half, and you're just going to need to flip the template for that because I'm providing you with one side of the template for it. I am going to be gluing these side pieces together first, those small pieces that have the darts, gluing them together, then the longer sections around those two halves, and then the two halves together. But before that, I heated with a heat gun each piece to make it a little bit easier to have the shape when gluing, and then you can see on screen just all the pieces being reconnected, and here we have it all built and assembled together, those 4 different pieces. As well, I cut out and glued the faceplate together. The 2 edges where they meet, there will be a 45-degree bevel, and then there's these 2 trim pieces at the bottom of the faceplate that flare out. You're going to have a 45 degrees on where they meet the faceplate and each other, and we're going to be reconnecting that later. Also, you're going to be cutting out these 2 rectangular pieces. They're going to be wrapping around the base of the helmet at the back where it says B, obviously. And once you have that done like so, this is what the result is going to be looking like. We're going to be attaching the faceplate about where the dart section meets on each side of the faceplate, so try and keep it even for your own helmet when you're making this, or if you guys need to adjust it accordingly for your helmet. Now we'll be cutting out these pieces that go at the very back of the helmet and they connect at the rectangular section. They're going to have a 45-degree cut where they meet on the back of the helmet like you see currently on screen, and then they're 45 and 45 where they meet together. I glued them a little bit at the edge where they meet, but I left the bottom half not fully connected. That way it was able to kind of be connected but have it flare up a little bit, so it gives it almost like it has a little ridge there. And then we're just going to have that meet up in the middle at the back like everything else, and then slowly glue it all together. Here I'm just showing you that I connected the middle first and then both end pieces, and then you can see there's the gap, so I would push that area out a little bit and then connect the flaring piece out to the back of the helmet. Then we're going to be cutting out the triangle piece and the weird side piece that goes on where the hinge area would be for the helmet. We're just tracing them out and then cutting those pieces out of 2mm craft foam. There's going to be also some indications on the piece that flares out the bottom of the faceplate and those 2mm craft foam pieces where we will be needing to add fake rivets or googly eyes for our purposes. And once you have them cut out, you're going to have them looking like such. If that triangle piece at the very top doesn't quite match, the idea is for it to follow the contour of the faceplate, so you may need to adjust it a little bit accordingly from what is given on the template. And here you can see we're just marking out the indications for where we're going to be putting our googly eyes, except on the triangle, one side of the triangle section and the right side of the faceplate 2mm craft foam, there is a missing googly eye, like the rivet that was there is fallen out. So now we're going to be adding a piece that runs down the top of the helmet. I just cut it out of 10mm craft foam and gave a 45 and 45-degree bevel to make it like an equilateral triangle, and then cut out a 45-degree cut at the very base of it so it runs flush of where it meets at the very back. And then I just hot glued, and this covers up the top seam. I just use the floor mat edge pieces that covers the jigsaw part, and then I cut off the puzzle pieces and then cut it to shape. Now we're going to be indicating where we're going to be needing to add our crosses. I just put in holes, and then later I drew the crosses myself, but the holes are just there to give an indication of how you guys will be placing it. Now I cut some 5 pieces of 2mm craft foam long strips approximately 3mm in width, and we're going to be adding these final detailing pieces for the last little bit of the assembly portion. We're going to have one wrap around the piece that flares at the very back, one that goes in between, like the middle of that longer piece that we had, and then it's running down the section that flares at the very back. Obviously this could be done on both halves, and then we're going to be having another one cover up that seam. So essentially we're having less and less seams to have and try and cover up later. Once you have that all assembled, this is what it should look like. You want to do your best to try and follow the contour of the helmet without having it in a straight line, and then afterwards just cut off the excess, and we are going to be moving on to some dremeling work, which is what I'm using to punch out the crosses at the faceplate. Now I'm using a sanding bit on my rotary tool or Dremel to get the edges, clean up that piece that runs down the spine of the top of the helmet. Then I'm using that teardrop bit, which adds a bit more battle damage, and to help conceal those seams that we do have, I'm later going to be filling them up with quick seal. And then I am switching to a cylindrical bit to get the plus cross shapes on the faceplate, and I'm just poking it through, making it plus, and just continuing that all along until I have the final result. Once again, these templates will be provided in the link in the description on Google Docs to a PDF format. They are meant for my head size, which is about 23 inches in circumference. And then once I have all the dremeling done, I am heat sealing the entire thing. Be careful, try not to put too much heat on your 2mm craft foam if you did attach it with hot glue, because it may flare up where it may have not properly met. If you used contact cement, that would have been a huge issue. Now I'm using quick seal to fill in those seams, and since it's a water-based caulking, I can use water to help blend it out, and I did about 3 to 4 layers. You may have to do more depending on how noticeable your seam is. And after coating the entire helmet in a black Mod Podge with paint, I did a base silver and then did some rust highlights and brown and washes, rust washes within those crevice areas, and added a design onto the faceplate of the helmet, and did some dry brushing of silver. Once again, I hope you guys are able to follow along. If you guys have any comments, post them in the description. If not, to my Facebook page and just send me a PM and comment whatever things you guys like to see me build. This has been Kyle from Regrettable Props, and I hope you guys have a good day.